I am one of the co-founders and the CEO here at Fizzin. And on that other screen over there is Callan. Callan, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi everybody. My name is Callan. I'm an accounts manager here at Fizzin and super excited to have you guys here today.
Awesome sauce. So that's us. Between Callan and myself, we're going to be going over the workshop today with you. And what we're going to be covering is a couple of things. So we're going to start off by going over what is time management, why is it important? And then we're going to delve into a couple of tips, some practical tips that you can implement, hopefully from today even, that will help you manage your time better and help you just be an all-round more efficient person. And then we're going to jump into some awesome information about spreadsheets. And Callan's actually going to do a live demonstration of how to use our free template that we will be sending you after the session to manage your time, to track your tasks, to track your time, to find out what do you already spend so much time on, what should you cut back on time, etc. So let's get started. So time management. You know, why does this concept exist? We've all heard it multiple times, whether it was back in school, whether it's just in your job in general, if you had a job before you're an entrepreneur, we've all heard it and we all know that it's important. As an entrepreneur and a business owner, effective time management ultimately helps you to achieve your goals and your business's goals. Research shows that managing your time wisely increases your happiness and your all-round well-being, which makes a lot of sense because when you wait to the last second to work on things in your business or in your personal life, your body is constantly releasing that stress chemical cortisol. And that is not a good thing to constantly be exposing your body to. It has negative effects on your body if it's sort of impacting your body over an extended period of time and frequently. So managing your time also means putting aside more time to get the job done right. So when you schedule your time and decide, I'm spending my time on this and that, and I'm spending an hour here, but only 30 minutes here, it also helps you to just improve your quality of work, which is really important when you're a business owner because you don't want to only build fast, you want to build sustainably. This means, you know, all around, you're going to have a healthier, happier business and more successful business, which should hopefully make you happy too. Time management, as I said, is also key to that golden word, sustainability, which I mentioned, and I'm bringing up again now. You know, sure, for a few days or weeks, or maybe even years, if you're a stress veteran, you can stay up to 2 a.m. every night or once a week, and you can wake up again at 5 in the morning and get 3 hours of sleep. But eventually you will run out of steam and eventually you will start making mistakes. And you'll probably be more of a shell of a person than anything else. When you allocate and compartmentalize your tasks and your time properly, everything that you do is going to be of better quality. It's going to happen faster. You're going to be able to do it faster. And the important thing there, as I said, is all about sustainability. You'll be able to keep up that workflow arguably forever. In business, it's not usually the guy that works faster or the guy that builds his business faster who wins big and creates an empire. It's usually the person that just outlasts everyone else. So making sure that you develop sustainable practices, sustainable time management is important for your business and is important for you too in your personal life, which is what I'm going to talk about now. It's not going to only change the game for your business. It's also going to help you in your life in general, in every aspect you can think of. In order to stick to the deadlines that you set for yourself, you'll need to exercise that very weak muscle known as self-discipline. And if you do this, if you build up that self-discipline in yourself, it's going to help you everywhere else in your life. So ultimately, managing your time is not only essential for you and your health and your wellness, it's also going to make or break your business's success. As business owners, we're often a certain type of personality. We're goal-orientated, we're driven. So we can sometimes put our business and our business's needs and its success before our own well-being. So for those people out there that are like that, remember that managing your time is going to help your business and it's going to help you feed into that goal-orientated, task-orientated part of yourself. Okay, great. So we've gone over, we've unpacked what is time management. Now, you may be sitting there thinking, okay, great. So This is something I understand. It's something I want to implement. I want to manage my time better in my life and in my business. But how do I start? What are some practical things that I can actually do from today? So that's exactly what we want to take you through. We want to take you through our top 10 tips for managing your time as a busy business owner. These are going to help you whether you're an entrepreneur or a CEO or a solopreneur or a mompreneur or, like I said in the beginning, someone who has a side hustle. So you're working a full-time job and you somehow need to fit in time to run your business. Let's get cracking with our tips. So number one is all about spending your time and finding out where you spend your time. So we all right now, as of this moment, even if we haven't implemented proper time management tactics, we all do have a habit and have a schedule, even if it's not a very good one. So the first step in managing your time is finding out and knowing where do you already spend your time in certain parts of the day. What do you do in the mornings? What do you do after lunch? What do you do after sort of close of business in the evenings? Sitting down and being super honest with yourself is the first step. There's no point in thinking about, what I would like to do or what I wish I'd done. Sit down and be honest with yourself and make a list of, what do you actually do straight after you wake up? Do you jump on social media first thing? Or do you maybe jump into meditation? Or do you jump into your emails? And then just go through the day like that and make notes of where do you spend your time and how much time do you spend. This will help you to realize very honestly with yourself and be upfront with yourself that, oh my gosh, I actually spend a lot of time watching YouTube, or I spend a lot of time watching Netflix, or I spend too much time on the financials in my business, or I spend too much time in meetings. I spend 95% of my day in meetings. This will help you to reallocate your time and to understand what things are time drainers in your life. Another very interesting thing about conducting a time audit in your life is that you will also start to realize, what are some things I should outsource as a business owner? So maybe you realize you spend a lot of time on your books and you think to yourself, I'm not really very naturally talented at like finance and at accounting. So maybe you'll realize instead of putting 95% of my time towards this, I should just outsource this. I should get a bookkeeper or get an accountant for my business. So that's something very helpful that a time audit can also help you do. The second tip that we want to go over is, in order to manage your time, you need to actually know what do you need to do? What do you need to get done today? What's the most important thing you need to get done today? Half of the battle of managing your time is knowing what do you need to do? And as I said, what's the most important thing you need to do? We all have 5 million things that we would like to do today, but what's the 1, 2, or 3 things that if you don't do today is really going to be a massive problem? Think about, is it a good idea to spend 6 hours of your day today working on that pitch that's only going to go live in 3 months? Or is it a better idea to spend majority of your time today on the system or the process that needs to go live in your business starting from tomorrow? If you start thinking like this and working like this, you'll stop leaving things for the last minute and you'll stop having to, pull all-nighters. Sit down and make a running list of what needs to get done each day, and then think about what's the most important thing that needs to get done today. Cool, so we've gone through 2 tips out of 10 so far. Now we're on our third, which is all about focusing on deep work. Deep work means that you get rid of all distractions. So yes, that might mean that you have to turn off your phone or put it on airplane mode, or at the very least, mute the notifications. It might also mean muting your email notifications or your Google Chat or your Slack notifications. So whatever things you have in your life that are sometimes distracting, this means that you kind of get rid of those and you put them on hold. It might also mean that you have a really loud dog, or maybe you work with children in the house, or something like that. It just means noticing where you get distracted and what distracts you, and then trying to work around that and trying to work with that. Deep work is all about giving yourself the quiet to be able to just focus intently for a short burst of time. When you get rid of distractions, you're often able to complete that pitch or that proposal or that presentation in half of the time that it would usually take you. So instead of trying to do that presentation in between other meetings and in between other tasks, if you sit down for a focused little block of time and you get it done, you'll find that you do it in 20 minutes as opposed to something that usually takes you a day or even a week to complete. Practically speaking, a little personal anecdote, I can't turn off my phone completely because I need to be on call for clients, and I also need to just be accessible for when my team needs me and needs my input. So I either put my phone on silent, but keep the screen up so I can almost screen messages and emails and calls to see like what's important. I am trying to get better at that. Sometimes I'm so focused on my work, even if my phone is up, I can't really see it. I can't see when a call is coming through, which Callan will know well. She'll know that sometimes I do miss things. But I have been getting better over time, and I have been training myself to now actually keep my phone on, keep it on full sound, keep all my notifications on for all my emails and my Google Chat and all of that kind of stuff. But I've trained myself to screen it and work through it. So now I've come to a place where I can deep work. I can really get focused and stuck into a project. But at the same time, I can see, oh, an email popped up. Oh, no, it's from so-and-so, and I only need to worry about that for next week. So I'm not going to read it right this very second and respond right this very second. All right, great. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is cutting off your social supply. Social media, it's a black hole. We've all been there. You know, you go on social media for a specific reason, or maybe you say, oh, I'm just going to quickly check what my friends and family are posting. And 2 hours later, you look up from a cat video and you're like, how the heck did I get here? So it might not seem like something you want to do if you're quite addicted to your phone and quite addicted to social media. But I personally guarantee that if you limit your social media intake and the social media time in your day, you will maximize your efficiency and probably be 10 times more, if not more, productive in your day. A good tip here is to sort of make a deal with yourself and say, okay, cool. I'm going to set aside half an hour every day where if you're working from home, I'm going to sit and eat lunch. But whilst I'm eating lunch, I'm going to scroll through my social media. So that's when I can fit in my social media. Or you make a deal with yourself where you say, no, I'm only allowed to get lost down the social media rabbit hole after close of business. So at 5 p.m., that's when I stop working, and then I can do whatever I want. So I can watch Netflix, or I can go on social media, or whatever it happens to be for you. A personal example or anecdote is I've never really been much into social media myself as an individual, but social media is part of my job and is part of my company. So I have been building in times where I can go on LinkedIn, for example, or go on Instagram and tend to fizz in social media stuff. I know LinkedIn for me is probably my biggest weakness because I get trapped down blog rabbit holes. So I do try to build in specific times where I'm allowed to go on LinkedIn and look through our stuff and check through our clients' stuff. Okay, great. So that's tip number 4. Tip number 5 is all about using the 2-minute rule. What's the 2-minute rule, you ask? So as entrepreneurs, not even we are immune to procrastination. Sometimes we just don't feel like doing something, and that's just human. Because we're our own boss, there's no one else to tell us what to do, when to do it, how to do it, except for ourselves. So that takes a lot of self-discipline. So oftentimes we are the ones that have to spur ourselves on to do this task. And there's not going to be really anyone who shouts at us if we don't do it. It's just going to impact our business's success. So it really comes down it boils down to self-discipline. But when sometimes self-discipline fails you and you're still finding it difficult to complete that task, using the 2-minute rule helps. So if you've got an email to write perhaps, or you've got a presentation to quickly put together, tell yourself, even if you really don't want to do it, okay, I'm just going to do it for 2 minutes. You can even set a timer on your phone. You'll often find that you get so swept up in the work, somewhere between a minute and a minute and a half, that you just finish the thing, especially if it's something a little bit short, like quoting or invoicing or paying your employees or something like that. If you find that you just get into the swing of things in those 2 minutes, you find that you just finish it automatically. Okay, great. Step 6 is building downtime into your schedule. This can be whatever resting means to you. It might be that you want to build in time to watch series. It might be that you build in time to go on social media. It might be that you build in time to visit friends. It might be that you want to walk your doggo. It might be that you want to come up with other business ideas, work on another business that you have going. It might be that you want to volunteer. Whatever it means to you. I think something important just in the world in general is that we're told so often about this concept of self-care, which is definitely important, that we've kind of gotten swept into what self-care means, and it can actually mean sort of anything, and whatever sparks joy in you is whatever sparks joy in you. So don't let other people tell you like what's relaxing and what's not. But anyway, once you've found what's relaxing to you, treat it almost like it's another checkbox on your list. Because if you do that, and if you force yourself to build in time into your day and into your week for that thing, you will get to it. It's not something that you'll let slip by the wayside. So treat it like it's a normal task for your business, because it is taking care of yourself, even if it's just mentally, even if it's just putting a smile on your own face by walking your cat or whatever it is you do. That's important. So build time for it. Great. Tip number 7, another tip and trick that we have for you is allocating yourself unstructured time. This is time open to the inevitable tasks that pop up in your day that you can't really plan for. So it might be calling the bank because your business banking's offline, or it might mean calling back a client because there's some sort of challenge that you just need to talk out with them. Making time to deal with the inevitable pop-ups will help you feel less stressed out and overwhelmed. Tip number 8 is all about automating what you can. So we've all heard it, work smarter, not harder. Instead of manually invoicing people or quoting people, invest in an application that does it for you. Instead of manually posting your social media or multiple social media posts a day, invest in a scheduling app. Saving yourself time by limiting or delegating manual labor-intensive tasks to tech is a great way to cut down on your to-do list. And it's also a great way to ensure the quality of work, because often tech just does it better. Tip number 9 is all about protecting your time. It's important to realize that you are the keeper of your own time. You are the one that lets people drain your time or lets things drain your time. There's no one else that gets to tell you what you do with your life and what you do with the hours in your day, just you. So make sure that you take that responsibility. You don't take it lightly, and you realize that it is your responsibility to be the gatekeeper of what you let into your life. And try to be smart about it. Try to spend your time picking things that are going to help you, are going to help your business succeed, and are going to have the biggest returns. So for example, if you know that if you're spending 3 days a week on some aspect of your business that isn't bringing in any monetary value, that isn't bringing in any marketing, isn't bringing in anything, maybe it's time to look at that thing and think, let's maybe put this on hold for now. Our very last tip is all about spreadsheets, which Callan is going to take us through. She's going to break this down for us. And then she's going to do a live demonstration on how to build a task and time tracker on Excel or Google Sheets, or just on spreadsheets in general. Over to you, Kay.
Cool. Thanks, Dom. I'm just going to share my screen over here. Great. Okay, so spreadsheets or Excel, most people use Excel. You get Google Sheets. I'm sure there's other software platforms out there that have the same functions, but majority of the people know Excel, so that's what I'm going to be working on. Yeah, Excel is pretty much, it's a great tool to use specifically for time management. And that's mainly because Excel it's a numbers-based software. Bottom line, it's numbers-based. It's formula and number-based software. And what is time? Time is numbers. It's the amount of hours you have in a day. And unfortunately, although I wish it wasn't true, many other people I'm sure wish it wasn't true, we only have a limited amount of hours in a day that we can use to get things done. And these hours are the hours that are excluding the hours that you're sleeping, because you can't do work while you're sleeping, the hours that you're eating, your family time, the time you spend cleaning your house. These are, yes, it's taking up time in your day, but we're talking more specifically about planning your time as a business owner. And unfortunately, while you're washing dishes, there's only so much you can do during that time to work on your business. So the more you time manage, the more you can fit into those very limited amounts of hours that you have in your day. Right, so I've luckily enough had amazing opportunities to work with amazing people who have showed me a lot about Excel, and I've picked up many, many tips along the way. And I'm going to be sharing a couple of those little time management and tracking tips with you. So our first sheet, if you look over here, this is pretty much just a task, little, very, very little easy task tracker. So not much that goes into it. It's not very complicated. You can see here we have the priority. So the priority is how important is that task? So you see I've number coded it here, is if it's coded a 1, it needs to be done today. If it's coded a 2, it needs to be done this week. If it's a 3, I can do it anytime this month, whether it be next week, the following week, as long as it gets done before the end of the month. That helps just in a sense that you can figure out exactly what do you need to do today and what isn't important, what's just going to waste your time today that you can actually do tomorrow or in 4 days' time. Because if you could do it in 4 days' time, why would you want to spend that extra time that you seriously don't have today doing that task? So categorizing it and prioritizing those tasks are a great way to time manage. And then in column B, we have category. So this helps just for, that'll come later, but it just helps you pretty much categorize your day. So what do you do in a day? If you had to categorize all the tasks that you did in a day. So I've done it here as if person X works 2 businesses, owns 2 businesses, and then also has to fit in a personal life. So your categories can be very, very basic like this, or you can go more in depth. As Dom said, you can put social media time. You can add in things like children. If you have children, do you have to do things for your children throughout the day? Maybe you have got to take them to a soccer practice, or you've got to pick them up from school, or you have a parent-teacher meeting. Then I would input children as one of your categories because you do tasks related to that category. Next up is the actual task. So this can be as descriptive, as blanketed as you want it to be. You can be very, very specific in the sense. So if you have to invoice customers, you can put there which customers you're invoicing. You can put in how many invoices you have to do. This is entirely up to you. Then in column D, we have budgeted time. So this, how much time do you expect to be spending on that task? So here for row 2, you can see 1.5 hours budgeted towards invoicing customers. Then in column E, it's the actual time spent. So once you've completed that task, you put in, okay, I only spent an hour. I didn't spend an hour and a half. And this column E is then later going to help us track how many hours we spend in a day. So leading on with that, if you go to our second tab over here, you can see I've put in the goal section. So this correlates with column D. So budgeted time. What is our goal? What is our goal for washing dishes? Okay, we want to spend 15 minutes washing dishes. So managing time, personal, 15 minutes of those total 2 goal hours for personal will be spent washing dishes. Setting yourself a goal is really nice because then you can know, okay, my goal for today is to spend 2 hours on my personal stuff, 3 hours on business 1, and 3 hours on business 2. Then you know, okay, my day is divided. I've got my goal. I know business 1 and business 2 are receiving the same amount of attention. Or if business 1 is more important to you, then you can sort of set aside more hours for business 1 and less hours for business 2. Or maybe you want to have a very, very personal heavy day. Maybe you have a lot of personal errands to run. Then you can set aside your goal hours for personal to be a lot more than your business 1 and business 2. And that sort of keeps you on track in a sense. So if you only want to spend 3 hours on business 1, then we come here to actual. You can see the actual amount of hours we spent in a day on business 1 was actually 4 hours. So we went 1 hour over our goal. So that could be a good thing in the sense that, yes, you spent more time on your business. That's amazing. It's exactly what you wanted. Or it can be a bad thing in the sense that, oh my word, that extra 1 hour was supposed to be spent elsewhere, or I could have spent it doing something else. And then, so the actual over here correlates with column E, actual time spent. And it shows you exactly how many hours were spent doing personal, doing business 1, business 2. So you can see goal according to actual for person X, they spent a lot more hours working or doing their tasks than they should have. So they went overtime. So like I said earlier, that could either be a good thing or it can be a bad thing in the sense that, oh no, you spent more time than you should have, and now you have less time doing something else. So how we get these actual hours, and we'll go into building it later, but it's actually a formula, a very complicated formula called SUMIF, and I'll explain how to do it when we build this sheet. But in case you don't quite get it when we go over it, this video is going to be available on YouTube. So you can just go back and rewatch it a couple of times until you get the hang of the formula. Cool. Then we have our time chart. So this is pretty much more based for people who are a little bit less number orientated and more picture orientated. So as you can see, the pretty little colors, it can tell you, okay, you've pretty much spent the same time doing business 1 and business 2, and you can see you spend a lot less time doing the personal stuff. So now if we had to come into our first one and maybe we only spent half an hour budgeting, maybe we didn't even wash the dishes, that was 0. Planning meetings for next week took us a whole hour to do. Strategy session, maybe that only took 15 minutes. Grocery shopping, maybe we spent an hour and a half grocery shopping because the lines were so long. Picking up stocks, so maybe that only took us half an hour. Reviewing financials, so as Dom said, maybe we're not such a very financial heavy person, and maybe that took us a whole 4 hours to do. Packing for vacation, maybe that took an hour because we couldn't decide. And doctor's appointments, maybe that was super quick and only took 15 minutes. So now we go back to managing time, and you can see how our time chart changed and our hours changed. So miraculously, we spent our total goal time is the same. But if we look here, so personal was 2, we spent way over. Business 1, we were supposed to only spend 3 hours, but we spent 45 minutes, which as a business owner is not very great because you want to be spending as much time building and growing your business as you can in a day. And then business 2 was 3 hours, but we spent 4.5. So we can look at this and say, okay, tomorrow I need to spend a little bit less time on business 2 and a little bit more time on business 1. And then you can go in, update your task list, update your tasks. And a little tip is don't delete your old ones. That way you can see, you can use your actual and do it as like a weekly thing. So you can calculate how many hours you have in a week, or you can do it as a monthly thing. But if you do want to do it as daily, then you can just delete all of this and re-input it in for the next day. And then if you look at our time chart for the people who are more visual and not very numerical, you can see, okay, business 2 very clearly took up a majority of our time today. Business 1, not so much, it's not very good. And then personal's okay, we went a little bit over, and we know for tomorrow, okay, maybe be a bit more conservative with the time we spend doing personal stuff. Great, so that is pretty much the breakdown of the two spreadsheets and what everything means. So now I'm going to take you through pretty much creating this whole spreadsheet. Once again, if you don't catch on as quickly, or maybe you get a little bit confused, we will be sending you the templates. So no need to worry. And then also it is available on YouTube. You can just go rewatch it and build along at the same time. Cool, so sheet 2 will start here. So the first thing you want to do is pretty much just build your outline. So the first thing in our headings, we have priority. And then we have the category. And then we have task, budgeted time, actual time spent. Okay, then we just want to make these all readable. Perfect. Let's center them. Great. So then next what we want to do is put our little blockies in, the borders. So we'll just put a bunch of random borders in. Okay, and now we can start filling it in. So task can be a little bit bigger. So then this is what we do, what I like to call a mind dump. So pretty much some people like to do this in the evenings. I like to do it in the morning. Is you go in and you pretty much go through your mind, okay, what exactly needs to be done today? Any little thing on your list. Maybe you need to, I don't know, walk the dog. Maybe you need to take the children to soccer. Maybe we need to call Bob about payments. Maybe we need to, I don't know, invoice clients or pay salaries. Okay, that's enough for now. So now that we've done our mind dump of everything that the day, we will go in and categorize it. So walking the dog, that is clearly personal. Taking the children to soccer, like I said, we can say that is children. Call Bob about payments, that is for business 1. Invoice clients can be about business 2. And then paying salaries, maybe that's business 2 as well. Great, so now that we've categorized everything, then we sort of figure out what is the priority on these. So walking the dog, does it have to be done today? Can it be done during this week, or can it be done sometime in the month? So I would say, shame, poor dog, let's do it today because, yeah, he needs a good walk. Taking the children to soccer, okay, that would obviously need to be done today because their soccer practice would have a specific date. You would know what those dates are. So if the soccer practice is only in 2 days' time, what you can do is you can just put in the dates in your task, and then you can change it to 2, so it's this week. Call Bob about payments, so we want to do that today. Invoice clients can be done sometime during the week, and pay salaries, I don't know, sometime during the week. Perfect. So now we've prioritized everything, and now we need to sit and think, okay, what is our budgeted time? How much time are we going to spend on these tasks? So we'll go, okay, we want to spend, I don't know, maybe it's a very nice day outside. We want to spend 2 hours walking the dog. The dog's going to go play at the park. Take the children to soccer. Okay, the soccer practice lasts an hour. We have to stay and watch our children play. So that'll be 1 hour. Call Bob about payments. So that'll probably take no less than 15 minutes. So I would put it as 15 minutes. And for those of you who are confused, I divide my ones. So 1 hour is 1, half an hour is 0.5, and 15 minutes is 0.25. It just makes it a lot easier for the calculations later on. Invoicing clients, let's say we have a lot of clients and that's going to take us 3 hours. And paying salaries, okay, maybe we have very, very small staff and that'll only take us about an hour. Cool. So now we have our tracker, our little task list for the day. So a nice thing to do is just to keep this task list open on your laptop throughout the day so that you can continuously look at it and know, okay, I need to walk the dog. Then prioritizing. So looking at these numbers gets a bit confusing because we have 1s, we have 2s, like what's today, what's tomorrow, and that is where filters come in. So you'll highlight your top row, and then you can either find your little filter button up here. Otherwise, you can go sort and filter and click filter. And then we'll just click our little arrow and we will sort smallest to largest. And now all of the ones, which is everything we need to do today, is on top. And we know, okay, cool, I need to do this one and I need to do this one before I can even think about doing those. So it's pretty cool because you can know like everything you need to be done for the day is at the top of the list and nothing will be forgotten. So always remember to filter and sort. Cool, so now we've done that, and now we'll build our goal time for the day. So we'll go into the next tab and we'll say goal time. Okay, so we need to now obviously find our categories. So the categories are personal, business 1, children, and business 2. So personal, children 1, business 2. Those are our categories. Then we'll just go ahead and put our little borders around them. And we'll do, while we're here, we'll do our actual time. And you can just select those, control copy, control paste. And we want to make a space for total. Cool, so now this is where our fun little formulas come in. So this is the sum if formula I was talking about. So sum if pretty much says, okay, out of this table of data or this new one that we created, how much of these numerical values are just for business 2? How many of these numerical values are just for children? So to calculate that, you'll just go equals sum if, you'll double click over there, and then you see we have range. So range is referring to all of our categories. What are we choosing from? So we'll highlight that whole column. We will put a little comma because you have to, otherwise you get an incorrect value. Then criteria. So out of this whole entire row of categories, this column of categories, sorry, what is the one that we're looking for? We're looking for personal. Cool. Put another comma in, and then sum range, sum numbers. So that needs to be our column with numbers. So we're looking for the goal time. So that would be our budgeted time over here. And then we'll put that and enter, and then you can see 2 hours for personal. And then if we drag it down, it will automatically fill in the rest of our little blockies. Okay, so now we can see we have budgeted 2 hours for personal, 1 hour for the children, only 15 minutes for business 1 and 4 hours for business 2. So now we want to add that up. So you can go equals sum, double click there, highlight those, and our total working hours for today are 7.25. That's the amount of time that we want to spend on our tasks, on our task list. Great. So now we move on to the day is going, we're doing our tasks, and as we do them, okay, walking the dog didn't take as long as we thought. It was only an hour. Calling Bob about payments, Bob spoke a lot, and he took a whole half hour of our time. Taking children to soccer, maybe soccer practice got cancelled, we didn't go. Business 2 invoicing clients, we budgeted 3 hours over here, but maybe we spent a whole 5 hours because some of the invoices, I don't know, got mixed up. And then paying salaries, okay, maybe that took an hour and a half. Cool, so now we have our actual time. And we will then fill in our actual time using the same sum if formula. So you go equals sum if, our range, so we're choosing between these categories, comma, criteria is this one, comma, sum range, sum refers to numbers, and this time we're taking the actual time that we spent. So we will click there. and then enter. And we'll drag these down for our total. Okay, so we could see personal, we budgeted 2 hours. The goal was 2 hours. We only spent 1. Children was meant to be 1 hour, but it was 0 because soccer practice got cancelled. Business 1 was only supposed to be 15 minutes, but we ended up spending a whole half an hour. And then business 2 was only supposed to be 4 hours, but we ended up doing 6.5. So now to get our total, we'll go equals sum, tally that up, enter, and we spent a whole 8 hours. So we went 45 minutes over budget. Okay, so now we want to do our chart. So we'll take this information, highlight it, insert a little pie chart, and there's our little pie chart. So now we can see, okay, personal is blue. If you want to change the colors, you can. You just click there, right click, fill, so we can change personal to bright blue. Children is not on here because we didn't spend any time on the children. Business 1 is gray, and then business 2 is yellow. So we can clearly see, okay, children are nowhere on this chart, so we didn't spend any hours on the children. Personal was only a little sliver of our time, and so was business 1. But very visually, you can see business 2 took up more than half, more than 3/4, sorry, not 3/4, more than, 3/4 of our time. And all of our time was just, maybe we didn't want to spend that much time. But like I said earlier, it can either be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. Like maybe you're glad, oh great, business 2 needed those extra hours, like great, cool, spend extra time, that's awesome. Or maybe it's, oh my word, I threw my day away doing useless stuff for business 2 when I should have been working on business 1. And now you know that you've looked at it, you've seen where your time's gone, and now you know for tomorrow, you can plan your day better tomorrow, you can plan your time better. And you can say to yourself, like, okay, clearly too much time is being spent on business 2, not enough time on business 1, and business 1 is not going to survive if I'm only spending half an hour a day working on it. It's like no business can survive that way. So you can say for tomorrow, okay, make a mental note, I need to spend more. You can even make yourself a note over here, caps lock it, spend more time on business 1, even make it red. So now the next time you come into your charts or your timesheet to arrange for the next day and do your task mind dump again, you can see, okay, I do need to spend more time on business 1. That is why I would suggest doing this not so much daily, because things change daily. Like nothing ever goes according to your plan on the day. I know personally I write out a task list and I get just above halfway through that task list because I sort of try and overachieve. So I would avoid doing this on the daily. Also, it is a very time-consuming process of writing your tasks, rewriting your tasks, planning your time. The best sort of thing that you could do is go weekly or monthly, or even put in one for 6 months or in 3 months, and all the tasks you need to complete by then. And then you'll have a better understanding of how your time is going from month to month. So last month I spent, I don't know, maybe you spent 60 hours on business 1 and only 20 hours on business 2. And then you know for the month, like, oh gosh, okay, what was I doing wrong? And you can go back and see your task list that you've created, and you can see, okay, I shouldn't have spent 5 hours there a couple weeks back. I shouldn't have spent 1.5 hours, or I should have only spent 0.25, 15 minutes doing those things. So having this task tracker and just seeing where you're going wrong with your time is a great way for you to organize your time and track your time and just know and keep saying to yourself, I only have so many hours in the day. should I be spending a whole hour on this task? Should I be spending an hour paying salaries? Or should I find a way to cut that down to half an hour? Or maybe you need to spend more time paying salaries because mistakes are being made too often. And that's when you know, okay, clearly 1 hour is not enough time. Like, I'm rushing myself to do this. So yeah, all in all, having a task tracker that tells you where you're going wrong, how many hours you're spending is great for you to be able to do like a time analysis on yourself, on your business. Why is your business not succeeding? Why are your days just blurring by? It really does help. And yeah, that's the end of the training.